6:49 Monday morning. It is great to be kicking off a new week with you on KCMO. Let's do it.
It's time for the 6 at 6 on 95.7 KCMO Talk Radio. Number one.
All right, number one story. Of course, Kansas City still does not currently have a city manager because Brian Platt is going on a week and a half of being suspended after settling that lawsuit with a former employee alleging that he told this employee, Chris Hernandez, to basically fib to the media. Well, Brian Platt spoke briefly over the weekend to the Kansas City Star about this suspension, and he told the Star that there was nothing in any of the multiple lawsuits that have been brought against him that was news to members of the city council. The quote here, nothing referenced in these lawsuits was unknown to the council. So this sounds to me like somebody who is going to dig in. Brian Platt also told the Kansas City Star, I really want to stay. I'm really proud of the work that we've done, and Kansas City is better off than when he got here. And that he is receiving a lot of support from those all over the city who agree. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people around the city who agree that Brian Platt may be getting screwed here. We will find out this week whether or not he holds on to his job. This will come down on Thursday from the Kansas City, Missouri City Council. But if they fire him, they may have another lawsuit of a different kind on their hands. And this is not going to be cheap for the taxpayers by any stretch, no matter how it plays out. So we've got an update on that story that is worth watching this week.
Number two.
Well, the weather created absolute tragedy in both of our states here. Not in the Kansas City metro, but on either ends of the two states that, of course, we reside in and that we call home. Let's start out in western Kansas, where a pileup involving more than 70 vehicles in Thomas County, coincidentally home of Oakley, Kansas, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago with Roger Marshall and his town hall out there, also Goodland. 70-car pileup ended up killing 8 on Friday afternoon between Colby and Goodland. The multi-vehicle accident, per KSAL News in Salina, occurred on I-70 near Brewster, and it prompted the Thompson County Commission to declare a state of local emergency. And it forced officials to close I-70 in both directions. Things did reopen up yesterday, but this was caused by a dust storm that moved into northwest Kansas from Colorado, and there was zero visibility. Traffic began slowing, and it resulted in multiple crashes. We worked to get somebody on from the Kansas Highway Patrol this morning, but they are just unfortunately swamped out there right now, still dealing with all this. But you've got 8 people that died, 70 vehicle pileup in western Kansas, and Laura Kelly saying in a statement, my thoughts are with those affected by this tragic event. I encourage all motorists to remain vigilant as the potential for further weather events continue. Thank you to the first responders and emergency personnel who responded quickly and continue work to investigate and clear this crash.
Number 3.
We'll stay with weather and go to southeast Missouri, where multiple tornadoes between EF1s and the big one was an EF3 down in Poplar Bluff has resulted in the death of at least 12 people across the state on Friday. The death toll was updated after a victim in Ozark County passed away early on Saturday morning. 6 deaths in Wayne County, 3 deaths in Ozark County, 1 death in St. Louis County, 1 death in Jefferson County, and 1 death in Butler County. 20 tornadoes of varying strengths reported in Missouri on Friday, impacting 25 counties on the eastern side of the state, resulting in a dozen deaths. Scott Fawn of the Missouri Times, he was down there. That's his hometown area, and he will check in with us later this morning to tell us how that side of the state is dealing with the fallout from these tornadoes over the weekend.
Number 4.
Well, number 4, the White House is now denying that it violated a judge's order this weekend to halt the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador, which, if it did occur, would take legal showdowns over the administration's claim of vast presidential power. And that is where right now the White House is digging in its heels. So they deported a bunch of alleged Venezuelan gang members, despite a judge saying you can't do it. This is going to be a massive political win for Donald Trump. You think the American people are going to be on the side of a judge who says, wait, don't deport those alleged gang members back to El Salvador? No.
How dare you?
How do you think that's going to play out? You think that's going to be a big hit with the American people? The Trump administration rolled the dice a little bit. I'm not going to pretend to be the legal expert on this specific situation. I will just say the American people are going to side with Trump on this, and that is part of the calculated risk his administration is taking. You're going to have your hyper-partisan judges try to stop us from deporting alleged Venezuelan gang members? Please. Happy to be a part of that and see how that plays out for you. Unbelievable stuff there. Let's go.
Number 5.
That's right. Let her ride. Woo, man, it sounds so good. How do you not get the chills? The greatest theme song since the NBA on NBC theme song back in the 90s, which now is back with the Big East on Fox. Yes, the brackets are out. March Madness is here. Selection Sunday took place yesterday. Missouri is a 6 seed in the West region. Kansas is a 7 seed in the West region. These two teams could meet if they get to a Sweet 16. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't. Kansas will be lucky to make it to the second round, where then they probably get St. John's and get their clocks cleaned by Rick Pitino. But either way, that West region is fascinating, by the way. In Providence, Rhode Island, you get 7-seed Kansas versus 10-seed Arkansas, 2-seed St. John's, and 15-seed Omaha. You have 3 Hall of Famers, Rick Pitino at St. John's, John Calipari at Arkansas, and Bill Self at Kansas, coaching in the same sub-regional. That is amazing stuff. Where else are you going to get that in a sub-regional of the NCAA tournament? But get those brackets filled out by Thursday.
Number 6.
And we'll end it on a sports note here with Cole Reagans being named the Royals' opening day starting pitcher. Well done, well deserved, not a shock by any stretch of the imagination. And we will be broadcasting, actually, out of the K on opening day coming up in, about 10 days or so. Can you believe it? That is around the corner as well. Can't wait. There's your 6 at 6.